Bunch of Crunch Army, where you at? Your motivation guy is back. I'm still here motivating you to be the best version of yourselves. Okay guys, let me let you know this. We are a family and you are a part of it. You know, finding the best drop spot in Fortnite is very, very difficult. Like, you may be trying a bunch of different drop spots, but somehow feel like you just simply can't find one. And that's why in today's video, Bunch of Crunch Army, we're gonna be doing another pro landing spots video where we show you all some of the best landing spots that the pros have been using. These spots are insanely OP, so be sure to stick around. And speaking of the pros, have you ever wanted to be coached by a pro player? Learn the strategies and the tricks that separate them from the rest of us. If so, boy, oh boy, I got the offer for you today. Over at proguides.com, we have pro coaches that can teach you everything that you need to know to reach the next level. So check it down in the description if you're interested. And with that being said, Bunch of Crunch Army, it's time to sit back, come on, relax, and grab some of my favorite candy. What is it, y'all? I got it right here. I always keep a box on me. It's that Bunch of Crunch. Woo! And let's get this going. All right, so the first spot on our list today comes from our boy, Benjy Fishy. All right, now Benjy's spot isn't as much as an unknown spot. It's more of a known spot that has recently dropped in popularity due to a number of reasons, all right? And this spot, ladies and gentlemen, is Retail Row. Retail is a really simple spot that most of us already know about, with 21 chest spawns, all right, an upgrade bench, access to zip lines, and even being near a rift. Retail is definitely an all-around good spot. However, the reason Retail has been so good for Benjy, even getting him first in a recent solo cash cup, securing him $5,000, is because of how lightly contested it is. Okay, so obviously, most of us are comfortable, you know, fighting and playing at Retail Row by now, and considering only 1 or 2 people should be landing there due to its decrease in popularity, it's no wonder why this spot is so good. So even though it's not the craziest spot on the surface, Retail Row is certainly still a viable option, and I honestly recommend giving it a shot. All right, guys, so second up on our list, we're gonna look at the landing spot of our world champ. You already know his name. His name is Bugha. Come on now. And Bugha's landing spot is actually pretty unique, as he prefers landing at Stark Industries, one of my favorite spots. Stark Industries is easily one of the most aggressive spots on the map this season, but I suppose, you know, when you're one of the best in the world, it's fair to contest a spot like that. Stark Industries has just about everything you're gonna ever need in a spot, with the vault containing OP loot, easy access to rifts, incredible loot with 26 chests in the main area alone. And if all of that wasn't enough, okay, it's also really close to the center of the map, making rotations super easy. I love it. So a common misconception a lot of you guys probably have is thinking that Stark Industries and similar spots are just bad simply because they're so contested, and I understand that, I really do. But in reality, these spots are actually some of the best if you're confident in your ability to fight. And so if you can get really good at fighting and be confident in early game, you have a good shot, man. Especially, you know, surviving just like Bugha does. So overall, like, while I'm not telling you to start landing there, I do recommend keeping aggressive spots in mind if you're very, very confident, because their loot can be worth dying off spawn a few times when it comes to tournaments. Speaking of tournaments, if you're trying to get into competitive or just trying to improve overall, you got to check out our VOD review service on proguides.com, where a pro player will watch your gameplay and give you like crazy feedback on how you can improve effectively. Our service, it really does save you time, and it really ensures that you get the top tier advice from people that you know what they're talking about. So be sure to check it out over on proguides.com. So if you haven't heard of Mars OW by now, then you guys are just missing out. If you don't know by now, Mars is one of the most accomplished pros in recent times, having over 200,000 arena points, winning first place in DreamHack, and placing consistently at the top in almost every solo event. And throughout all of this, Mars has stayed consistent with one landing spot, guys, which is Craggy Cliffs. I always tell you all the time, Bunch of Crunch Army, to pick a landing spot and just really stick with it. And Mars is living proof of that. Having landed at Craggy since pretty much the start of Chapter 2, He's mastered this spot completely and now rarely really dies off spawn. Even the players who may be more mechanical than he is, simply due to his incredible knowledge of the spot. But not everything is attributed to his own knowledge, right? Because Craggy is also a really good spot on its own. With 20 chests, an upgrade bench, tons of slurp barrels, boats, and even rifts haven't been added, there's just no doubt that Craggy is an underrated spot for pretty much every type of player. Okay, so if you want to play passive, then Craggy isn't really that contested in the first place. So if you want to play aggressive, then the rifts are fantastic for getting you around to places like Doom's Domain and Stark's Industries in mere seconds, okay? And it allows you to W key to your heart's content. So with that being said, while Mars' incredible amounts of practice and knowledge of craggy cliffs certainly help him stay on top, there is just no doubt that this spot is amazing overall and certainly worth a shot for you guys. Alright guys, so fourth up on our list, we've got a landing spot from the best player, pretty much the king of Brazil. No pun intended, it's our boy, King. Alright, so if you don't know who King is by now, let me quickly run you through some of his accomplishments, alright? At 13 years old, check this out. King got 5th place in the World Cup, securing $900,000, going on to get 2nd place in trios during Season 10, 5th in squads, 4th and 12th in Winter Royale, 5th in dual FNCS, 2nd in the solo FNCS Invitational, 1st place in the 2nd solo FNCS, and 2nd in the trio FNCS Grand Finals recently, along with placing at the absolute top in solo events and daily cups on almost a weekly basis. Whew. I really just wanted to show you guys all of this to explain just how insane this kid is at the game. Do you guys believe me now? Okay, so with that said, this is a drop spot video after all, and King's drop spot for solos this season has been Doom's Domain. All right, Doom's Domain is definitely a solid spot. It's a bit less contested this season since it's no longer brand new, but it still has everything from before, right? Another big thing about Doom's Domain is that it's a pretty large POI, so if you're contested, you're much less likely to be 50-50 and you usually end up having a pretty fair fight, which is absolutely critical for players who like to W key at the level that King does. So if you're looking for an aggressive spot with reduced risk of 50-50s while still having incredible loot, then feel free to take after King and check out Doom's Domain. Alright guys, so next up, moving into our last player on this list, we've got a very interesting spot from NRG Unknown. So instead of just landing at a major POI like almost all the pros have been doing this season, we've actually seen Unknown start to land at a smaller POI, which is Risky Reels. So at first, the choice to land at Risky Reels seems a little strange considering we're quite in an aggressive meta right now. And on the surface, it seems like more of a passive spot. But you know what? Watching Unknown's gameplay, his reasoning becomes pretty clear. Okay, so at the start of the game, check this out. Unknown usually runs into 1 or 2 players, right? Who can confidently clean up grabbing a few early points. After getting a kill or 2 along with whatever loot he needs, Unknown simply uses a rift to get out. Since there are a bunch of them around, he's able to just play out the game however he wants. Usually, you'll see him just playing aggressive and just dropping into a fight, but he does always have the option to play a little bit safer and rotate somewhere else, instead of just hopping straight into the action. So whichever way Unknown decides to play it, Risky Reels is definitely a pretty unique spot, but after looking at it, we can definitely see a good reason to drop there as opposed to the big name, POIs. Since it has solid loot, it's heavily contested, and it provides easy rotation to pretty much anywhere you want to go. Risky, let me say this, it's a great spot with a variety of playstyle options that are attached to it as well. Alright guys, so with that being said, bunch of crunch on me, it's time for our recap. Here we go. As an overall verdict, the meta lately in terms of drop spots has definitely been a little bit more aggressive, with pros like King, Bugha, and others landing directly into super aggressive spots. However, another option, and probably the more viable option, is to land at a less contested area that allows rotation into the action. Places like Retail Row, Craggy Cliffs, Risky Reels, all of which we saw from the pros in today's video. It really does allow you to play relatively smart in early game, getting a few kills, but ultimately not taking too much risk. And then it allows you to adjust your playstyle to be either more aggressive or more passive, depending on your situation and which type of game you're in. So with that said, man, hopefully these spots can give you guys a bit of, inspiration, which is my goal as your motivation guy, for your own drop spots. And when you're looking for a spot, guys, I definitely recommend trying at least a few of these and just seeing how they go. But you got to keep in mind, when you eventually find your spot, the most important thing is just really to stick with it, because that's one of the easiest and most effective ways to be more of a consistent player. All right, guys, once again, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like on it. And if you want to help us, reach 1 million subscribers, you already know what to do. Sub to the channel, spread the word. We got so much incredible stuff going on this channel. We want to take it to the next level, and I'm so glad you guys can help us out and be a part of our journey. Bunch of Crunch Army, where you at? I'll see you soon.